I'm LaJohn Reese, aka Fahim. Motivated to Help Others presents Voices of the Unheard Tears to the community and world where women have become vulnerable with courage and strength to give their heartfelt truths on losing a loved one. This is needed because it allows women who have been faced with fear and criticism to open up and feel free to speak. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first shooting, the first episode of Motivated to Help Others presents Voices of the Unheard Tears. And just to give a little bit of understanding, insight of what Voices of the Unheard Tears is about, it's about women being able to give their true testimonies, understanding insights on how it feels to lose a loved one, either by death, jail, separation, or natural causes. My name is Fahim, aka LaJohn Reese, and I know you. You're my childhood friend. I've been knowing you for a long time. But what I want you to do, just let everyone know what's your name.
My name is Denise Turner, better known as Dede, the hairdresser from Richmond, California.
That's right. Hey, you know what? She says she's a hairdresser. But what I remember growing up, when we had house parties, she was the first one that I know to have the house parties where it was popping. I'm talking jump. We used to have to sneak out the windows to come to our house parties right there on 6 and Main. When y'all staying right there. Remember the house parties?
No, for real. Everybody go back to that because they be like, I remember when I was young, I couldn't wait till I got older so I could go to Dede house parties. I'm like, that's so funny because it was just like somebody was having a party, their party got canceled, and I was like, Mama, can we have this party at the house? And she let me, and it was so fired up. Every first of the month, she was like, you want to have a party?
Yeah. How much y'all charge to get to a party?
$1.
$1 to get in. So
$1.
So y'all was good. So
and my mama was selling coolers, wine coolers.
Ain't that something? So how old were you when you first did that?
So and everybody, I'm older than everybody. So everybody think that we the same age. It's like I'm actually 2 years or more older than everybody. So when we had that, I was like, I think our first one, I was like 17.
No, look.
But y'all was like 15.
Exactly.
15 and 14.
Well, I was born 1970.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. See, and I'm 66, so I'm like 4 years older than you. Yeah.
Right. So here I'm just a little teenage boy growing up in the neighborhood. But I see you. How did you just get the mind state to become a young entrepreneur at that age? Because that's what you were. You was an entrepreneur at that age.
And then I didn't even know it. Like, I didn't even know it. Like, right today, I still throw parties, throw events because it was just something, so I know it's in my blood. My grandfather owned 2 bars in New Orleans. So my family came from New Orleans. My grandfather owned 2 bars, and I know it's just in my blood. I want to have a bar. I always like having fun. I always want fun things to do, safe too. Mm-hmm. Always been my thing. You got to be safe. So I think that's where it really came from. My grandfather.
That's good. That's good because and also to be so full of life and so full of giving, because you have to be full of life and giving to just be able to have those people come into your comfort zone.
And that's so true. And you know what? And not to be giving it all to my grandfather, because my daddy is the life of the party. Okay. So, I got it deep in me. Like, I would always give all my props to my grandfather, but that's because my daddy was, he was out in the streets. And my mom was too, but now that my dad, no drugs, drinking, none of that, he been for 16 years.
That's good.
And everybody love him. He done did some stuff in his days. Everybody still love my daddy. My daddy throw a party is cracking, the most popping OG party in the house.
And I gotta go. Next time you have a party,
I'm about to have him one for his. I throw him one every year because he gonna bring all the pimps and the players and he bringing them out.
Include me. Well, I'm at the age I can get in now. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you. So I gotta give it up to my dad too, because he's still the life of the party.
Right.
Still right now. My grandfather gone, but my daddy, I look at him and I be like, God, I am my father's child.
Yeah, you are your father's child. That's right. That's right. You know what? And it's a trip because we always ask ourselves, who come behind us? What type of roadmap that I'll leave for others after I'm gone?
Yeah.
But you know what you have done? You created a blueprint. I'm saying from Richmond, the Bay Area. And this is a blueprint because, mind you, I've been gone for like 30 years, right? 31 years.
31 years.
So when I left, you still had, what was it, the little white car? The little short.
The Fiero.
That's what you had. And I remember.
Yeah, I had a Fiero.
Right. And then I think y'all still had, grandmama still stayed on 9th Street.
Yeah.
And then y'all had, and they had the other house on 10th Street.
Yep, the one on Harbor Way.
Okay, but now listen. So I said that to say this. When you started braiding hair, right? 'Cause every girl in the neighborhood had a hair braider, and the boys came around to the girls who did hair. That's how we came up. Who doing our hair? I mean, I try to go my little Jerry curl and grow my hair, right? So, how old were you when you first started braiding hair?
When I started braiding at 9.
Wow.
I was 9 years old when I learned how to braid. By 12, I had a clientele.
Is that?
I was making money off of hair at 12.
So hold on. So you tell me, braiding hair, house parties at 12 years old.
So I started the braiding first, but like I be telling people, like whatever. It's like I feel like I got a clientele to sell. Period. It ain't got nothing to do with hair when it comes to a clientele. You can sell just about anything. It's like if you got a following or a clientele, you better use it to the best of your advantage. So about time I start throwing the house parties, my brother had his clique.
Right.
I had my clique from the hair. It was gonna be popping anyway. Yeah, but 12 when I was 12 braiding, I started braiding just to have friends because my grandmama didn't.
Right.
I couldn't even come out the gate.
So basically you was braiding on the porch.
I was braiding on the porch.
And I remember that. I know we all can understand getting that hair braided on the porch coming on.
That was my company. I mean, my grandmother and I love her to death. I miss her so much, and she. That was her way of protecting hers, you know what I'm saying? So she just didn't let us out there. I tell everybody that's how I was pregnant at 18, having a kid at 18, because my grandmama didn't let me outside till I was 16. I was about 16. I'm talking about out the gate. Finally, I could go up the street like 15, 16. Finally.
Wow. Yeah.
So. But I ain't mad at her at all. Because by the time I got out there, I had all the game. You wasn't running nothing on me.
Ain't that something? You gotta have. You gotta have the game in order to paint a mile.
Absolutely.
Because if you ain't got no game, I don't know how you finna get to that mile.
You ain't getting there.
You might go a half a mile, maybe a quarter mile, then you going right back. And go try to figure out how that happened to me.
That's real talk.
And you know what?
That's real talk.
And this goes back when I was saying earlier about the blueprint, what you said. You set a blueprint for a lot of women, a lot of sisters. And in Richmond and the Bay Area, they weren't doing hair and just hair braid and just coming up the way you doing it.
Yeah.
That's a real hustle. You had a real.
You bring me back to my town.
That's what I'm saying. That's what this is about. You had a real hustler spirit.
I did. I really did. When I started, it was just like, it was never enough for me. I was like, I'm not going to stay right here. Right. I always felt like I can go higher and higher. That's, and that push came from my grandmother and my grandfather too.
That's good.
They was always like, when I started doing hair, I was doing it for free. It was a hobby. I remember looking out the window, watching my clients walk off and watch them until I couldn't see them no more because I was impressed by my work, And then my grandfather started saying, "You too good. This ain't no hobby no more." My grandfather told me, "This ain't no hobby. This a job. All these people knocking on this door. You tell them they got to pay you."
Exactly.
And I was like, "They ain't gonna pay." He said, "Oh, well then if they don't pay, they don't need their hair done." But it was like, to me, I was like, "But I want them to come. I don't want to charge them and they don't come." He said, "Oh, they gonna come."
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And I told that girl, I got charged now. Yeah. She was like, "How much?" $5. My grandfather was like, "Go tell her you charge $5 now." I was 12, and that girl went to the car and got that $5.
See,
it was on that.
And one thing about that first $5,
man,
that's when they who did your hair? She charged $5.
Everything. I'm talking about my phone didn't stop. It ain't stopped ringing 42 years later.
Okay, now check this out. Okay, now today we got the internet, right? We got the
Yeah.
internet, we got the YouTube, we got the Instagram. So back then, how did you keep your clientele? Did you have a pager?
No, you know, it was the phone first.
Mhm.
And you know, and I love my mama to death. My mom was on drugs, so, and when I wanted to be with my mom, so when I turned 15, I went and stayed with my mama. That's when we started doing, because I stayed, my grandmother and grandfather raised us.
Right.
And that's when I started doing the house parties and stuff too, like 15, 16.
Mm-hmm.
My mama never could keep the phone.
But look, but what I remember back then, but even though with everything, whatever your mom went through,
My mama was
she's
a
always
hustler,
staying
too.
herself.
She was my mama a hustler too.
Yeah.
She gonna get it too. Like she, you know, she taught me a whole bunch of
Yeah.
things. Like, you know, she had friends that liked her, and you gonna do for me, you gonna do for my kids. One of her
Exactly.
friends was like, I'm gonna get you a phone. I'm gonna teach you some responsibility. Look, I'm gonna do like my son. I ain't gonna do no name drops because
Right.
he is well known. No.
Absolutely. We all know. Yeah, it's all good.
But he was like, I'm gonna get you a phone, and you keep this phone on. I need you to pay this bill every month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is it.
That was my first, you know, what I wanted, my first piece of credit.
Right.
And I kept that phone on because I knew the phone was important. But my grandmama, 2345661. That was her phone number to the end.
I know.
If nobody didn't know that number, they knew that number, they'd call. Like, no, Denise not here, but this her phone number because my grandmama knew that was my money. If all you had to do was call my grandmama. I said my grandmama was my secretary.
Right. Hey, and one thing about grandmamas, they always kept the same phone. My grandma's had her since the 70s. I still remember 2346309.
You hear me?
You know what I mean?
2345661.
Everybody remember their own phone? I know y'all
I'm
do.
telling you, yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
good. So listen, so how long you been out here in Royalty Studios?
So
Royalty Salon.
3
this is
years,
the
yeah.
hookup.
3 years on my birthday. We opened up almost 3 years ago.
Mhm.
The grand opening was on my birthday. So give a shout out to my son, my godson, Filthy Rich. No.
That's right, that's right.
So, you know, he wanted to go into business.
Yeah.
And he had been bothering me for about 2 years. I want to go into business. I was like, I want to do a club.
Yeah.
He want to do a salon. I'm like, I've been doing that for years. Like, he talking, I ain't going to do no OG club. So I was like, it's okay, come on, we'll open up the shop then. And when I tell you, this boy was so passionate about
Right.
this shop though. Like, literally, he had to have them things painted black. He wanted them painted black. He didn't want them white. Like
Right.
the rest. He was like, I want them in black. I was like, hey, do your thing.
Mhm.
You know.
Okay.
But he said it was so beautiful. He set it up for me. He been, you know, that's my rider. He just want the best.
That's good.
For everybody.
And-
like.
right.
And that's what type of person he is. You know, he gonna come in. He gonna do it. Well, he took to me real hard. That's literally my godson.
Mhm.
Birthday, grand opening day, royalty
All right.
chain. Like, we got royalty coats. He do his thing.
That's
but,
what I'm talking about.
You know,
Yeah, and think because you have a genuine spirit, so genuine spirits, they're gonna
Attract.
connect. They're gonna connect. They're gonna attract, and it's gonna kick out what don't belong. All that foolishness,
Ooh.
all that hatred, all that disrespect, what that don't belong.
no.
Get the hell up out of here.
I just
You know what I mean?
said that to somebody.
Get on up out of
I
here.
said, anything bringing you any stress, strife, anything, it's over.
Exactly.
You got to get rid of it. Anything that do me like that now, I'm about to be 55 on my birthday. So they say, we get 70 good years. I would like 70, but my grandmama lived till she was 94. So
Ooh, that's a blessing.
I got about 100 years on this earth.
Yeah.
No.
That's right. That's right.
No, but I'm like,
Why not?
anything that be stressing me out, I'm done. And I ain't fooling with it no more. I'm done. Like, you ain't got, I say, this is my motto. You don't get 3 strikes with me. You better be
That's
happy
too
if
many.
you get 2.
Because sometimes one strike you out.
You ain't getting
Sometimes you only get one.
You ain't getting 3 and be happy if you got 2. I must really like your ass if you got 2.
Hey, you know, I want to go back to a little because you know we talked about the beauty salon, we talked about the upbringing and all that, but we all had to get our hands dirty, everything a little bit. Now, do you remember the long $5 bags of weed from back in the day? You remember them? Those $5 bags of weed.
Hey.
Cause you was a hustler.
So let me tell you, I've been a weed smoker. I
Right.
don't smoke no more. I ain't smoked since my brother passed.
Right.
But Yes, I have. I get some bump and hit it every so often, but I stopped smoking. I was a weed smoker, and I mean, I'm gonna say I went around maybe twice looking for a bag of weed, maybe twice, and was like, oh, I ain't about to do this every time I want to smoke.
Ain't that so?
So how much a zip cost? I started asking. I was like, how much a zip cost? Because I buy a zip. All my folks smoke. I sell them some, and then I got some to smoke. And that's how I started selling weed.
Ain't that
and when I tell you,
yeah,
we took over. Did we take over the whole block?
I remember.
Did we take? No.
Yes, y'all. Hey, listen. When I left, it said, because I remember one time. But we gonna get to all that. We're on 9th Street. I mentioned that too, and I said we out there hustling me down Texas early in the morning, and I had Donnie moped, and you pulled up the little red moped. You put up. You told me, Sean, what the hell you doing my sister moped? I said, won't let me use it, right? But all that time you was hustling so hard back then. That was like 1986, 87.
Yep, my son. After I had my son, it was go hard. I didn't know nothing but to go hard. Like I literally, when I had my baby, it's like, and it'd be so crazy because I'm like, my mama had me. My mama, she did come through when she was supposed to. My sweet 16, she did everything a parent's supposed to do. She taught me about the birds and the bees because my grandmama wasn't about to teach me.
Right.
She like, look, I'm gonna make sure you got a roof over your head, some clean clothes, some food in your mouth, some shoes on your feet. Like she took care of the basics, but all that other stuff, she was no. Right. I ain't doing all that. My mama came finally, she came through and she, taught me everything I needed to know about life. And she like, look, I ain't telling you to go out there and, have sex, but if you do, you will be protected. Me, my dumb self, I met Andre Daddy. I thought I was super in love.
Well, back then he was popular.
I guess.
Back then he was popular.
I guess.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I want to marry him. Yeah. We gonna have a white. We gonna get married, buy a house with white picket fence. I had that fairy tale in my head because I'm looking at my grandma, and my grandfather.
Like, why not?
Shoot, it was all a dream.
Yeah, but hey, it's all a dream. We get the smoke screens and all that. But the thing about it,
you know what? It was a lesson for me though, because my mom had me. She put me on birth control pills before I even ever had sex.
Right.
So I was like, I knew about all that. So I said, I don't want to take them because I want to have a baby by him. So I stopped. Mind you, I'm 2 years older than him. Right. So that was the wrong thing already. But I'm not thinking about him. I'm thinking about myself. So I blame myself for a lot of stuff, with Andre, because I'm like, he was only 16 when I had my son. So I feel like he was maybe too young to even be a dad. I'm 18,
Because the mind haven't even developed yet. See,
at all.
He's still basically an adolescent.
He was a kid, So I put a lot on him, so I don't fault him. I fault him today for still being tired. But, back then, I fault myself. I think I put too much responsibility.
I get it. You know what? I tell my loved ones all the time, I said, listen, man, here I am at 50, 51. I refuse to be tired at 50. And that's why I have to get up and go so much. I said, I refuse because I see people.
Because let me tell you something. When you 50 and 51 and you tired still, it's your fault now.
Yeah.
Because if I could see my daddy go from, I don't even know what drug my daddy used. People then said the type of drugs he used. My dad was on drugs. And when every time I seen him, he wasn't with us. He was checked out, nodding. I used to be like, get him up out of here. Like, I used to really treat my daddy bad. My daddy is the bomb right now. Like, you would never think, but he always was that. Right. Drugs, drugs is really a sickness.
Drugs is a sickness, and it's also a weapon.
Yeah.
It's a weapon.
That was used against
It's used against us. And people don't really understand how, when we go back to the early 80s, and administration of Ronald Reagan, right? When it was really like a boom, it just dropped into our society. Right, and
what we going through right now with the pandemic and stuff, I keep saying only the strong gonna survive. Yeah. And that's like with the 80s and the crack and stuff. Because my mama been off for 28 years. And my mama said one day, she said, I quit. we was like, you right. Like, you know, we really was like, okay, you know. She was like, I ain't no more. I'm no more. I ain't touching, and she ain't touched it in 28 years.
In order to change, it takes courage. It takes courage to change.
Okay. My mama said, I ain't doing it no more, and she didn't do it no more.
Right.
And no drug rehabilitation, none of that. Straight cold turkey.
So that lets you know that all these programs, what these folks say a lot of people need to go to, ain't nothing but a means for some more money and to rape our minds.
Straight up.
That's all it's about. It's all about the money. Yeah. So I always tell guys and girls and women, I say, listen, anything you want to do in life, when you want to change, it starts with a thought. Put that thought, plant that thought, put that seed, water it, put some sun, nourish it just like we nourish our children.
Yeah.
Right? You nourish your child a certain way, either be a male or a female, it's going to grow up to where you nourish it. And then once it gets to that certain age of maturity and understanding, then it'll veer off to decide what you want to do. But the parent, what you did for your children, you put it up in them and allow them to sprout up. Yeah. And that's a blessing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
You know, I tell people, I tell this story a lot too. I said, and I wanted to have a kid. When I had Andre, I wanted my baby because I wanted to show my parents how to be parents.
Right.
You know, I was just like, I'm going to show y'all how you supposed to be a parent. Yeah. That was my whole reason for even having a kid. But like I said, I was only still thinking about myself. So,
yeah.
You know, I had to, once I seen that Andre couldn't do it, like, he ain't going to be able to do it.
So you told us a little bit, you know, your upbringing. So you had any siblings?
Yes, I do. So I have, my mom had 3 kids, which was me, my brother, and my little sister Donnie. And my dad had 3, which was me, my brother, and then we had one more sister. He had one more daughter, like 12 years after me. But, you know, I got a village of sisters, like, from my 9th Street, Seal, you know, Seal, that's my sister, okay, and every single last one of Geneva kids is my sisters to the end. So I got, my sisters is deep. When we get on the picture, we like, well,
that's what I'm talking about.
Let me see, 4, 5, 6, 7, is we 7 deep? 7, 4, 7. We 7. We didn't took a picture with all the sisters. It's 7 of us. 7. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So,
and that's now them my sisters. Straight up. Yes.
I kind of got a question. So what made you leave Richmond? Because you in Vallejo, but you from Richmond. What made you leave Richmond?
After my brother got killed, it was all bad for me, and I try not to have this love-hate with Richmond, but I do have it right now.
So what year did your brother pass away?
04.
So when did you first hear about your brother passing?
Same night.
A phone call?
Yep, Super Bowl. Every time the Super Bowl come around, I be trying to be busy. I just be trying to do all kind of stuff because I'm like, you know, it's just a damper on my life for the rest of my life. You know, it been 17 years now.
Wow, I was incarcerated when it happened, and I told me, matter of fact, Dante told me, he was like, man, he said, man, my boy Walt got shot, but we never knew. And then he said, man, Walt got killed. I'm like, what? Because, no, we always was cool, you know what I mean? And we always was like, and then I always think about a lot of things, but then went on to Richmond, so on and so forth, and that's why it's important for us to have this platform now to give women, sisters, and mothers like yourself to be able to just to give a voice to express your deep feelings and understand. So how did you feel about that when it happened? You still carry those feelings today. You have to.
I do. I mean, for the rest of my life. And, you know, Walter was going with me that night, too. Like, we was going to Super Bowl party. Oh, my. We was going to the Super Bowl party, and I just will never forget that. Like, right on the corner, he was like, I can't find my ID. And I'm like, where your ID at? Like, he was like, I don't know where it's at, y'all just go ahead. And I'm like, nah, they ain't even gonna be tripping. Come on. He like, nah, I don't want to go all the way out there. Can't get in the club. And then, you know, I'm just outside. And I'm like, okay. And, you know, I don't know if, so it was beepers then. Because I just kept getting calls from, I don't even know what number. I can't even, and it was kept saying 911. You know, they was putting 911 behind everything. So I got a couple of calls with 911, but then after my pager kept blowing up 911, I'm like, wait a minute, like, let me go and call. Like, I don't even know how I call. How you used to call back in the days? I don't even know how I used to. I was able to call somebody though, and they said, come home, Walter been shot. They didn't say, you know, he was gone. But
it happened in Richmond?
Mm-hmm.
Where at Richmond?
So I don't, you know, 3rd Street maybe, I don't know, because I'm telling you, I still can't ride down that street. You know, I'm like, I look at people and they make whole memorials.
Right.
They have the candles and the,
right.
I can't even go down the street at all. Can't even ride down the street. I remember a few years ago, I was just down in my phone, and me and one of my club sisters was riding in Richmond, and she had to go somewhere, and I'm like, I'm just down in my phone, I'm not paying no attention, but when I did finally look up, she literally on the block, you know, on the street that my brother, I just broke down, I scared her, you know what I'm saying, like, I ain't been down that street in all them years, so it was just, it's, you know.
It was deep.
It is.
Yeah, because, you know, being so close in age, being around each other every day, and it's never a soothing effect to get over the loss of losing a brother, sister, a family member, especially something that was tragic. You know, sometimes
I mean,
we
you
can
know,
prepare.
Exactly. Like my grandmother, my grandfather lived a good life. You know, and I missed my grandfather heck of much when he passed, because he was like my father figure, you know. But then when my grandmother passed, I miss her too. But she was more, my son hurt more from her. But I used to be at the cemetery all the time, you know, when my grandfather passed. But my brother passed before my grandma. So after my brother passed, I couldn't even go to the cemetery. I hate going to the cemetery because it just be unbelievable that my brother is down in that ground. It just, and then I remember this lady was at the funeral. She was like, Dede did good at the funeral. And I'm like, I can't even remember the funeral. Right. So I know I didn't act no fool. Maybe that's what she was there for. I don't know. But I'm like, I gotta live with this. I've been living with it for 17 years. And that's like, one day, I'm not gonna act a fool one day. I got the rest of my life to live with this, you know.
You was telling me that you left Richmond and Vallejo is now your new stomping ground for some years.
Yeah. So before my brother passed, I came to Vallejo. So I came to Vallejo and opened up a second shop. So I had How Do You Want a Hair Salon in Richmond, and then I opened How Do You Want a Phase 2 out here in Vallejo.
So you was navigating back and forth.
Yeah, I would work in Richmond from Thursday to Saturday, and then in Vallejo from Monday to Wednesday.
Okay.
So yeah, so I was going back and forth, and I had a few girls in my shop in Richmond, and then I came and started working, building my clientele out here, and I really, I ended up closing my shop in Richmond and moving all the way out here.
Okay.
And I had a big shop on Marin Street, and you know, when I first started working there, I didn't know it was a dope track. You know, like
so, before, you getting everything, all the clientele now.
Well, I was scared because you know it's like it was really fired up down there on Marin Street, and I was like, I don't like that. I was like, it be dudes all, and you know, women attract dudes.
Yeah,
so it was
absolutely.
like they used to be posted out there like they was like, they trying to see who coming, and I didn't like that. So I started telling Walter, you know, the niggas keep coming in front of my shop and walking past and stuff, and they scaring me. I be scared to go out. Walter start coming to work with me every day.
Ain't that so?
And then all the niggas they scared of Walter.
Yeah. Well, you know, Mo had that look.
He did.
Yeah.
So now they like, so then they want to be cool with him, because Walter used to be like, get from in front of my sister's shop.
Right.
You know, so he'd keep them away. And they all became cool with Walter. They was they loved him. So now, shoot, Walter out there running the block. Like, you know.
One thing about Walt is that no matter what he went through, his ups and downs, right? He had genuine love from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One time, we on 9th Street, right? And this when he was messing up.
Yeah.
Remember, he had just
Yeah.
right before he went to Clayton.
Yeah.
And every time he come home, DeAndre make sure he good.
Yeah.
He did that, right?
Yeah.
So one time we out there at the apartments in front of Travis' house.
Mm.
And he like, LeJohn, I know you got something. I said, Walt, man, nah. I said, man, you just came home. We finna make it so right. He walked down to the house. No, matter of fact, he walked down to Dante's, across the street downtown. He come back. It had a bike frame. And he hit me in the arm with it, right? I almost broke my arm, right? But I love Walt so much, I couldn't even get mad at him. That's how good of a man he was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't even be mad. And then I just said, here you go. But that was my, and it was good. And it's sad because we lose so many good brothers and sisters.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then it takes us the time to regurgitate it. And now we go back and think about all these fond memories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have to remember back when. Remember back yesterday.
Yeah.
Remember how we used to be.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I remember how we was then,
Yeah.
and here we are again today. It ain't enough of that no more. Because now we looking at yesterday, for those who we grew up with, who was real close to us, a lot of them are gone.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a blessing how you kept your sisterhood, how you kept everything together,
Yeah,
and who
yeah.
you guys are today.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a story within itself. But a lot of women need to hear and understand that I can come from this here. I can go through this. I can go through this setback. I can go through all these emotional turmoils and struggle of losing a family member, even though I never forget about it. Even though that hurt, it's always going to be in my heart.
Yeah.
But I can still overcome certain things and push forward. And here you are now, royalty.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because I was headed down a dark path after that happened to my brother. Like, that's why I don't smoke weed no more. I started abusing weed. And I done smoked, you know, since I was old enough to smoke. And I don't know, I guess I was maybe 38 when my brother passed. I think I was 38, almost 40. And, you know, shoot, I was smoking. I was always high. It's like a battery cell. When a battery cell gets going, I could feel my high going down, and I'm going and recharge. I'm going to smoke to bring my high back all the way up, all day. I just want, and you know, I look at the people in the world today, and I'm like, that's why so many people on drugs.
Right.
And that's why so many people, alcoholics. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's their way of
Escape.
being numb to. Because I was just trying to be numb
Yeah,
to
trying
what
to
I
get my
was going
feelings,
on.
yes.
Although it was no numbness. It didn't numb me. So I had to tell myself, you going to keep doing yourself like this, or you going to go to something higher. Because you want to be numb. You know what I'm saying? You trying to numb it, and it ain't helping. And so only thing you're going to either do is you're going to quit and deal with it another way, or you going to go get on some drugs. I ain't never been on drugs.
Yeah.
I've only smoked weed all my life. I drink a little, but I've always smoked weed. So it was like, so what's your next move then? Is you gonna go to something? What you gonna do? You about to get on some drugs because the weed ain't helping? And I had to stop. A person came to me and she said, "Can I pray with you?" She asked me, "Can she pray with me?" And I said, I didn't want her to pray with me. You know, I I wanted to say no, you know what I'm saying, because I was so angry. And she seen how I was looking. She said, I just want to pray with you because you so angry. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was mad at the world. Like, I didn't even want to drive because I was driving mad. Like, you know, so I wasn't driving with a conscience. And I said, yeah, you know, let her pray with me. And then I let her pray with me. And then she said, can I come and start doing Bible study with you? And I was like, maybe I need some Bible study, you know. And I'm like, once I got deep into my Bible studies and stuff, the lady said, you don't choose God. He choose you.
Absolutely.
You know? Like, and I was like,
that was a jewel.
Man, when she said that, I'm like, he choosing me though, because I ain't choose him. I didn't say, well, let me go to God, then that's going to help me. I was thinking about going to something higher. I don't know what drug I was going to do because I ain't never did no drug. You know, but I needed something to help me. I was hurting inside, and it was something that I couldn't explain. You know, people used to be like, and that used to piss me off. They'd be like, I know how you feel. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel. No. How you know how I feel? Exactly. When I don't know this feeling, I ain't never felt this in my life.
Right.
And that's so much. It's something I can't even explain this to you, but you can tell me you know how you feel, and you know how I feel, and I don't even know the feeling.
And I'm taking all these chemicals, because we got chemicals in it.
Yeah.
To try to find a way, but you know what I'm going through. Yeah. How dare you?
No. And it used to piss me off.
Yeah.
And I didn't want nobody to be like, it's okay. Like, you know, I didn't cry in front of people. I would go in the bathroom, smoke my weed and cry. Right. And then I'll come out like you don't gotta pity me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got this, you know.
So basically you knew what you felt.
I'm telling you, every time like a certain song come on right now, today, 17 years, a certain song come on, or the Super Bowl, my brother's birthday, that same feeling come back. My heart hurt. My heart hurt. I ain't never heard, I heard of broken hearted and all that. I ain't never heard of your heart. I heard a heartache. You know, people sing about it, but I ain't never felt it. I feel it, you know.
So that was sacred, but when your heart was ripped, because people always talk about how I feel to, like you say, have a heartbreak from relationships.
Right.
Like, all right, we get over it fast and go, I might feel a little bit, I lost my girlfriend, okay, whatever happened.
Right.
But when you lose a brother, someone you were nurtured with,
I'm
ate cereal together.
No, my people don't understand. Me and my brother was only 11 months apart. So it's like, as long as I can remember, I can remember him. Like, I don't, like, you know, you don't have no memory at 3. You can't remember something happened to you at 3. People be saying, when they even say 5, they be like, no, I remember. You know, a girl just said that to me, like something happened to her at 5. And I was like, you don't remember that though, right? Because you 5. And she's like, no, I remember it. I don't remember stuff that happened to me at 5.
Wow. You
know, but what I do remember all my life, when I can remember, my brother.
Yeah.
Well, he was always right there.
You'll never forget that.
Until the day he left me.
Right. I want a question. Can we talk about music? What was his favorite song?
When he passed, it was Wapale.
What's Wapale? Which one?
Closer to My Dreams.
Ain't that's it?
And it seemed like it just come on. I don't care where I'm at. Like, it depends though. You know, it's like if I'm thinking about something too hard, or I'm tripping off of something, and I'm in a car, or I'm in a car with somebody, and I'm like, ooh, I hope don't let them go down, or where we going, and all this and that song will come on. And it make me sad, but I be like, I feel like that's just my brother, like, saying, it's okay though.
Yeah.
You're gonna be good.
You know what? Saying that it's okay, but also saying, look at your struggle. Look at the travels that you went through, right? Yeah. And look what you are right. Look, I want you to turn around, look behind.
Yeah. Just look behind. Look at me.
just look at that.
Yeah.
Right?
I have come, and I've been blessed. And I tell them, I be like, I got an angel. I got angels though. You know, I know my grandfather, but my brother, like, I was really in a dark place, and somebody came in the shop when I started back working. I had moved to Elk Grove, and I was coming every weekend and doing hair out here. And I remember this lady, and I was so sad. Like, it was, you know, it took me some years to kind of be better with this. And She was like, you know, everybody always be like, you look young, you still look young. She came in the shop and she said, you finally starting to look your age. Like,
But you got your life back. You got the life. You got it back.
She was saying, I'm finally starting to look my age. Like, and people always say I look younger. She was like, you finally starting to look your age. You starting to get old finally. Like, you know, but I was so sad. It was not even 5 years that my brother had been gone. So I was doing a job on myself, you know, and then somebody told me, they was like, somebody came to me and they said, Walter rolling over in his grave. And I was like, why would you say that? And they said, because look at you. Like, they like, you know how Walter would have a fit if he knew you was tripping like this, you know. And I'm like, I said, I don't know what to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, they like, don't do that though. He can't even rest in peace because you know, like this. And I remember right before Walter passed, I had been up all night doing hair and I was so tired. I'm talking about I was so tired, I was delirious. Right. And I had stashed my money somewhere. I had a heck of money on me and I stashed it somewhere, but I was so tired and I was smoking weed. I couldn't find it. And so I'm like in my room like, they done stole my money. I always blame people. Right. I was like, these hoes just came and stole my money, like, because I had did these girls' hair. And I was like, so I'm in the room and I'm just like, I'm crying. And Walter walked in the room, he said, what's wrong with you? And I said, I can't find I was like, I can't find my money. He said, you better stop crying. He did not, he didn't like me to cry. Right. Like, if I'm crying, well, whoever made me cry about to get it. Like, he been like that all his life. Right. And he was like, stop crying. I said, I think them girls stole it. He was like, who? What's their phone number? Where they at? I said, I don't know, though. Like, you know, I was like, I don't know. He was like, where you think you put it? Like, he started going through all my clothes because he knew I used to stash my money, like, in my clothes, in my closet. I don't know. I don't know why. I was high and up all night. I said, I could not find that money. He was so mad I was crying. He was like, you better quit crying. I'm about to find your money. Like, when the person said that to me, like, Walter would be rolling over his grave because he did not like me unhappy. Like, you know, he just was like, you know, if I was crying, he was mad. He was like, you better suck it up, what you crying for? Like, you know?
Keep that joy.
Yeah. So I had to think about that and I had to stop being so sad. Like, you know, and then when I started studying, just knowing I had to learn about death. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you don't know about death.
And it's so uncertain. It's so uncertain. And I got a question before we wrap it up. And this is the question. What can you tell someone, women who have lost a loved one or who's going through these certain hurts and pains in your own words? And how to get over it.
Yeah.
Or how to go through it.
Yeah, go through it. Because we never get over it.
Exactly.
And people lost their brothers after me.
Yes.
And I know some girls, a couple of girls, that's going through the same thing that I go through, that was really close to their brother. And they lost their brother. Like, Dana is one person. She lost her brother Dede, and they was hecka close, you know, and it hurt her so bad. When people say to me that they know how I feel, I believe that I can really say I know how Dana feel because I know that feeling. Yeah, and it's like, I tell her, it ain't gonna never go away. I ain't gonna sugarcoat. Right. I'm not about to be like, it'll be okay one day. I tell her, that'll never go away, but it is gonna get better. Mm-hmm. You know, and I mean, some people deal with death different ways. Like, I can see somebody that deals with a death, and I can go in their house and they got big old pictures of their loved ones that they lost. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. You know, I can't look at my brother picture every day because I want my brother to be here. I don't want to walk in and just see a picture of my brother. My pictures of my brothers are small because it hurt my feelings every time I look at my brother. You know, so I do got pictures of him in my house, but they not big pictures because I don't deal with it that way. You know, it's like anytime I see pictures of my brother, I cry. I just do, you know, because I miss my brother.
Yes.
Me and my brother share rooms. So some people, mamas had a 3-bedroom. My grandmama was taking care of her kids. So y'all gonna share a room.
Yeah.
And anytime I was scared at night, I got in bed with my brother. Like, I would probably sleep at the other end. I remember I got in bed with him, snuck in the bed with him. I woke up with a big old scratch in my face. He didn't scratch me with his toe.
Where go cut them toes?
He didn't scratch me with his toenail. I didn't care. I was scared. I'm getting in the bed with my brother.
He bite one and say, get your ass up out of here.
Right. But, it's like, that's why I'm like, and then when it happened, my brother was living with me. So, after that happened, at night, I couldn't even sleep because I kept waiting for him to knock on the window. Like, he always would knock on the window to get let in. And for a long time, I did it. And that's how I psyched myself out too, which is not good. I said, when I moved to Elk Grove, I was like, you moving to Elk Grove and walk the stand in Richmond with Rise. And I did myself like that. And, and then anytime somebody would be like, man, that's messed up about walking stuff, it hit me because I was trying to blank it out. I was just in my mind trying to tell myself that he over here and I'm over, because I was always with him. So my thing was like, just be like he out there, right. Like he out there. Right. So, when it comes to people going through that, that's one thing that they don't need to do. Don't psych yourself out, because I feel like I hurt longer for doing that.
Yeah, because we run from reality.
I was running.
We do it. You can't escape the wind.
No.
Because reality is the wind.
Yeah.
What's coming? I don't care which direction we try to go to.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit you dead in the face.
Yeah.
But on a lighter note, I want to say, because I want to go back to your talented days, right? Your talented days. You choreographed hair shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You braided hair at a young age.
Yeah.
It's one thing which you did not say, but attracted a whole lot of people.
What?
You was a dance choreographer.
Yeah. Do you remember when we was doing the talent show?
I could not. Let the people know how you was how y'all was doing it. When y'all was always going up against most wanted.
So it was, but you know what? I got in the game so late though, because if my grandmama would have let us out there a little earlier, I'm telling you, I think my first talent show, I was 15 years old.
Mm.
I never had been. Talent shows was the thing.
It was, wasn't it?
That was the thing. I didn't get to go to my first one until I was 15.
Y'all was on stage. Who got dropped on their head?
Donnie.
I remember that.
Donnie was dancing with somebody else though. I don't know who had Donnie in their group, but they did a flip and Donnie had some what was them things? What was them?
I think it was Chinese shoes.
No, it was the
booties.
The booties.
Yeah.
Had on some that was slippery. As soon as they flipped her, she just slid right.
I remember that too. I remember that talent show.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all wasn't them y'all group.
Ours was who was we? Good and Blink?
Cause y'all was always going up against most wanted.
Yeah.
Crystal and them.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was, them was the good
And
old
we
days.
was Lady Astrons.
Lady Astrons.
We was the Lady
yeah.
Astrons first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see them, and just to be able to think back in the late 70s, early 80s, and how you come up into where you are now,
Yeah.
it's a major blessing.
It is.
It's a major blessing.
People say, girl, they be like, you've been doing your thing. I be like, no, I've been blessed.
Yes.
Like, they be like, girl, you got so much talent. No, God bless me with a talent.
But you know what? God will send his blessings, right? But it's up to you to drive it.
That's right.
Because a lot of us receive things, right? But what you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what to do with it.
That's true.
Yeah, like they say, drop the ball. Yeah, drop the ball.
Yeah.
It was in your hand. You missed your calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true. So you got your calling. It dropped in your hands. You didn't stutter step.
No.
You pushed forward.
No, a lot of people be like, girl, you've been doing hair forever. And I'm like, well, why would I do something else? Like, I mean, I'm like, this what I was sitting here to do. And I'm going to say, no, now I'm going to go and work for somebody. I ain't worked for nobody never in my life.
So why do it now? And this is your passion.
This is my
This is
calling.
what you love doing.
It's what he sent me here to do.
Right.
I love doing hair.
Okay,
too.
so now, you being the queen of all this woman, how many people, how many generations under you have you taught or coming up to do hair now?
Yeah, because it's a lot of girls now that's coming up and doing hair and doing their thing, and they be like, yeah, I watched you when you did my hair when I was in the choir. I seen you doing. I'm like, I don't look at it like I had that influence on people.
But you did.
But and it's a lot of them that probably ain't gonna say it neither. It's a lot of them. Oh yeah, I ain't mad though, but it's a lot of them that say it.
Yeah.
That say it. Like, I mean, one person just was like, he had me like all emotional because he was like, I just want to thank you for motivating me. I wouldn't be who I am today. And when I say the person I'm talking about is somewhere off in LA doing his thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I never thought that he looked at me as the person that helped him to get where I was like, oh, like I'm
we never,
tears to my eyes. You know?
Never know who we inspire.
Nope, don't even know.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. Because I never knew that until he said that day. And I was like, oh, like, you know, but I mean, I'm like, I am the person that is always the one saying, well, come in, you know, do this. Come on, you can come over here and do that. I'm always pulling. So I got people that I didn't said, let's go do this or come do that didn't surpass me. I ain't mad.
No.
That's what I want to see.
And that's what pillars and role models do. You are a role model.
Yeah.
See, you are an epitome of a role model. So
Yeah.
when people see you, this is what she went through. Oh, I got this from her. I got this from her.
Yeah.
And now they don't give you your props, but deep down inside, they can't do nothing but give them to you, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. Because now you have us to speak like, oh, we know where that came from.
Yeah.
It's like getting a nice car to paint job. That's some candy paint. We know he had the candy paint first, so you had to get it first. Come on, don't
Exactly. Right.
But yeah, so so as we wind it down, and I thank you, Dede, for opening up.
Oh.
Cause I know it took a minute. You know, you took a minute to get here, but we here at Royalty. And I thank everyone for joining us.
Yeah.
I thank my man Chuck at Rich City Studios.
Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck Rich Studios for be putting this together. My man Oscar Maurice for showing up. And everyone else for being here, which is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And again, this is Motivated Help Others presenting Voices of Unheard Tears. And we have, say it again, tell them who you are.
Denise Turner at Royalty Hair and Nails. No, look,
But you got
better
something
known as Dede.
You got something else going on too. Coming up, you told me.
Oh, I do. The print shop.
You can let us know.
Yeah, the print shop, 400 and a half Tuolumne Street, the home of Stay Working and Smooth Creations print shop. Get all your prints done there, sweatshirts, hoodies, what you need, backdrops, banners, all of that. Can get it done right here in Vallejo on Tuolumne.
And it's open right now?
Oh, well, not today.
Well,
So we're closed on Sunday and Tuesday, but Monday, Wednesday through Saturday, we're open.
Yeah.
And we're trying to also get people clothes line. We want, or your products, what do you have? We want a home for other people who, black-owned business.
So I can take my Motivated Help Others through there and get my redesigns and everything done too?
Absolutely. You can get them done and we'll sell them for you.
That's
But
what
we
I'm
don't do
talking
it for a percentage.
Oh yeah, you got to get a cut.
Absolutely.
It's business. See, we understand business, and this is how we navigate.
Absolutely.
We navigate, we propagate, and we market each other because ain't no hate. This is genuine love right here.
Straight up.
And we all grow.
Absolutely.
That's how we're doing.
That's how I'm doing it. I'm getting some shelves put up at the store, and I want everybody to have, and if we sell your product, then you get a spot on our wall of brands. That's what we call it.
Wall of brands.
So if you got a brand,
yes, we
putting your name up on the wall, and your brand can, if you come in there and that brand is on the wall, you can buy it here.
You can buy it right there.
Yes, but if your name ain't on the wall, we ain't selling your crap. Don't bring it.
So make sure it's up the part. And again, thank everyone for joining us today. Motivated Help Others presents Voice of Unheard Tears. My name is LaJean, a.k.a. Fahim. And we got Dede. And we out.
And we out.